If you follow along closely with my life, you know that yesterday was a bit hectic. I performed at All America, but just a few hours prior, just literally an hour prior, I was in the hospital. It was a bit hectic. I'm gonna curl my hair and then tell you. Hair is curled. So long story short, every time that I've been dancing for the last couple of days, or even just like walking, like anything, my stomach would just like really hurt. And I don't know why, but it just kind of passed. And so I was like, maybe it's that time of the month, maybe it's a cramp, I don't know. Then all of a sudden it was yesterday morning and I went to Mall of America to do some like morning Black Friday work. And all of a sudden I was coming back up, I did a TikTok dance, I was coming back up to my room, told my mom, I was like, hey, like I'm gonna have to get myself looked at when I get back home. I was like, this pain is like really bad. But I kind of thought it would pass. And so like it has been for the last few days. So anyways, I got back up to my room and I had 3 hours before the performance. So I was like, I'm just gonna lay down and close my eyes and hope for the best. I laid down, I closed my eyes and I was like, I can't breathe. Like I was like, this is really bad. And so I was like, why don't I get in the bathtub? Because also in my head, I'm like, all right, I need these muscles to calm down because I've got to perform, right? And so I was like, let me hop in the bathtub to see if that kind of calms it down. And that set it off 100 times worse. So I got in the bathtub and I was in it for maybe 4 minutes, and all of a sudden I was like, I have to get out immediately because I knew I was gonna black out and I felt like I was gonna throw up. And so I was like, I got out immediately, I ran to the couch and I just laid down. I called my mom and I was blacking out, and so as soon as I was done blacking out, I called my mom and I was like, hey, like it's actually really bad, like I think I need you to come up here. And she was like, okay. She came up right away. She was like, should we take you to the hospital? And I said yes. And then, to be a little too honest, I was completely naked. And she was like, can we put some clothes on you? And I was like, I can't move. I couldn't move to put clothes on. And she was like, should I just call 911? And I was like, yeah, you should call 911. And when I said that, instinctually, she was like, whoa, something's really wrong. Because I'm a very tough girl. Anyways, so then called 911. She was like, JoJo, sweetheart, like you have to put clothing on for the EMTs. I was like, I know. So she helped me get clothes on, and then EMTs came up. They didn't really know what was wrong. They took vitals. All that was normal. So then they were like, do you want to go in? And I was like, yeah, I do want to go in. Went to the hospital. We told them the situation. We said, look, obviously if something is like we need emergent surgery wrong or something like that, like obviously there's other options. I said, but there is a lot of people at the Mall of America that are waiting and counting on this performance. And obviously if there's something life-threatening, like we can postpone, we can figure it out, we can push it even later, like we'll figure it out, right? I was like, if it's an option for me to be out of here by noon, I would love to be out of here, or right before it was that noon, so we said by 11. And that was my dad saying that to them because he knew that was what I wanted to communicate, but I was in so much pain that I couldn't communicate. Then all of a sudden pain meds started to kick in, and that was lovely. I started to feel great. I was dancing in the hospital bed, like I was feeling much better than once the pain meds kicked in. And then I went and got an ultrasound, and the ultrasound revealed, long story short, that one of my ovaries had a cyst on it that burst and was bleeding into my stomach. So that's what was causing the excruciating pain, is any time that the blood in your stomach moves, that's the bleeder in the stomach, it's like brutal pain. And long story short, should resolve itself. It should stop on its own. I gotta go get it looked at in a week. Basically, the story is like, just try to keep it calm. And I was like, all right, I'll try to keep it calm in a second. I gotta go do this little shindig quick. And so yeah, it's basically just excruciating pain. But the good news is we know what it is, and I think that brought a lot of peace of mind to me. Now I know like the pain, I know what the pain is, and so I know like just take a second and it'll settle and it'll calm down. But anytime it moves, it is, even like when I'm asleep and I like roll over, it wakes me up because it like hurts and cramps so bad because of the blood in the belly. But imagine the dancing. It's really a whole nother level. Anyways, that's the story of what happened. Today, we're going to go to Larkin. We're going to dance again. I'm afraid how this dance is going to affect me because I'm going to be dancing, but it's only going to be an hour. We're going to do it. We're going to keep it pushing. And if I vomit or if I have that excruciating pain burst again, I got to go immediately back in, but we should be okay. But what a morning. Anyways, I just want to say thank you everybody for caring and for the well wishes. I'm doing all right. I'm not 100%, and it'll take about a week or so for me to be 100%, as long as nothing gets more complicated. But thank you for the well wishes. Much love. We're going to keep it pushing, troops. We always keep it pushing. I'm dressed and ready for the day now, but I watched that video back and I realized that I left something out that I want to mention. The doctors and nurses at the hospital were absolutely unreal. First of all, so nice, so amazing, but also so fast. I had tests, I had results, and I was out of the hospital within 2 hours. Now, if you've ever been to the emergency department, you know that's not realistic at all. As we were driving there in the ambulance, the guy told me, he said, look, like, just so you're aware, the average ER time right now at this hospital is 12 hours. And I was like, great, all good. Like, we'll figure it out. Anyway, so once the doctors and nurses knew the situation, they worked really, really fast, got the test, got the results, did everything so fast. And I do have a theory. I were reminiscing with my family at night last night, and I was like, you know what I bet? I bet a couple of them there had daughters that were coming to this show. They were like, get her back out if we can. Get her out of here. Because my daughter, my wife, is at that venue waiting. They're at the mall waiting for her. Get her back out there. But it was incredible. They worked so fast. I was out of there. We made the 911 call at I think 8:20, and I left the hospital. By the time 911 got here, by the time the EMTs took me, it was probably about 9 o'clock once we headed to the hospital, and I was out of the hospital by by 11, 10, 11:15, and I was back here at 11:20, and then I got dressed really quick. I ate something really quick. I had a lot of pain meds in me, so I was feeling great, and I was on stage by noon as scheduled, did the meet and greet as scheduled, and then got off, and my pain meds started to wear off, my adrenaline wore down, and I was like, uh-oh. But doctors and nurses were absolutely incredible, got me where I needed to be for everybody else, and yeah, it was lovely, honestly lovely, and I just wanted to share that they were incredible, but also share my funny little theory that we were reminiscing on yesterday.
To see story time on my day yesterday, hospital hours before my performance. Quick recovery from JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa bounced back as the scary medical incident landed her in the hospital, still hitting the stage despite a blessed clot. So, love you guys. Just stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe.